I suppose what struck me most about them was the incredible vivid colour. I mean, it seems like a rather banal thing to say, but if you think about the 50s, most books were fairly grey, and those books that weren't were printed on a kind of rather sort of browny paper, and maybe were just 2 or 3 colours, and there was something about these tank engine books that they were incredibly vivid, incredibly bright, and almost kind of glowing. Now, I mean, there's several moments in the Thomas the Tank Engine books that I can remember and I've carried with me for all my life. And I suppose one of the key ones is the moment when Henry gets bricked up in the very first of the Thomas Tank Engine books, the 3 railway engines. Now, this has just been handed to me, and I've just seen this for the first time for something like what must be 45 years. And I went, ah, this is incredible, because I've held the picture in my head, I've held the picture there, and then suddenly I'm seeing it, and it's an extraordinary thing in which the two things are meeting. That again and again the books are returning to the idea of order and who's in charge. And obviously we know the Fat Controller, that he's the big chief, and then we have the engines, and there's a hierarchy between the engines as to who's entitled to pull the express trains, and little Thomas the Tank, who thinks that he's a bit better than that, and then below that, below the level of the engines, you've got the carriages. Awdry's fed into them, really, the way in which children relate to adults. That's actually what you're talking about. You're talking about children in families and children in schools, and the hierarchical world that children belong to, and younger children and older children. And Awdry very cleverly has, in a sense, taken those ideas about hierarchy and order and put them on to objects that we used to see around us the whole time. I just picked up, just starting from the book principle, Thomas Noisy Book, and I've had wonderful fun with this because we can hear the train and the coaches and the whistles and even a helicopter. And I don't know how he got in there, but that's the cops. And then my favourite.
Really?